The movie begins with a quiet shot of a man named Palmer, sitting alone on a bus, staring out the window. He's on his way home after being released from prison. His destination is his grandmother's house. When he arrives, his grandma meets him with warmth and relief. She welcomes him in, tells him to go settle into his room and get some rest. From his bedroom window, Palmer notices a woman named Shelley arguing with a man by a van. Her child stands nearby, silent. The man accuses her of stealing money from his wallet. Shelley doesn't even deny it. She says yes, she took the cash. It becomes clear that Shelley is reckless, irresponsible, and lost in her addiction. Palmer's grandma later confirms, and she tells Palmer that Shelley is a known drug user, and that she often abandons her child without warning.
Oh, that woman is nothing but trouble. If it wasn't for her little boy, I'd kick her right out of that trailer.
Grandma also lays down a rule that if Palmer wants to live in her home, he'll need to attend church with her every Sunday, to which Palmer agrees without protest.
And I go to church every Sunday. If you're living here, you will too.
The next morning, Palmer goes out looking for work. He visits several places, but his parole status and criminal record become a wall he can't climb. Doors shut in his face, one after another. Tired and disheartened, he ends up at a local club, where he runs into Shelley again. One thing leads to another, they talk, connect, and that night, they get physically intimate. But the morning after isn't so private. Palmer is spotted leaving Shelley's van by none other than his grandma, and Shelley's young son, Sam. Later that day, Palmer, Sam, and Grandma all head to church together. There, Palmer sees an old friend from his past, but despite this brief sense of familiarity, something inside him still feels out of place.
It's all about church and football.
Amen.
They did open a new coffee shop, though.
The next morning, while brushing his teeth, Palmer is hit by a strange realization that he's still stuck in prison. Not physically, but mentally. His routine, his posture, his instincts, they all still belong to the man he was behind bars. Soon after, Grandma hands Palmer a shopping list and some cash, asking him to pick up a few things from town. At the store while grabbing groceries, Palmer notices a help wanted poster.
Would you like an application?
Yeah, sure.
The girl at the counter asks if he's interested. Palmer says yes. But just then, the manager shows up and tears the poster down, and coldly says the vacancy is already filled.
Forgot to take the sign down, is all.
Palmer returns home to find Sam playing with his grandma's makeup, brushing her hair as if it's a game. Grandma explains that Shelley dropped Sam off again, just like she always does, and hasn't said when she'll be back. Palmer retreats to his room, and Sam follows him, holding a doll and playing quietly. Palmer tells him, "Boys don't play with dolls," to which Sam replies simply, "But I like dolls."
Well, I'm a boy, and I do.
There's no shame in his voice, just honesty. Grandma then calls them both for dinner. As they eat together, she gently asks Palmer if he's found a job yet. He says no. She then questions why he didn't return all the change from the shopping trip. Annoyed, Palmer defends himself, saying he gave her everything.
$12.13. Go ahead, count it.
Frustrated, he leaves and ends up at a bar where he notices a flyer on the wall mentioning that a local school is hiring a janitor. And the next morning, we see Palmer sitting nervously in a school office, waiting for his interview, where he's first asked to fill out a form and then call in for a meeting with the principal. But things don't go smoothly. As soon as the principal sees that Palmer is on parole, he grows hesitant. The idea of having someone with a criminal background working around children feels risky to him. Despite Palmer's calm attempts to explain that he possesses no danger, the principal remains skeptical. However, everything changes when the principal notices a familiar name on the reference section, Palmer's grandmother. Her name carries weight. She's known and respected in the community. This influences the principal's decision, and he ultimately agrees to give Palmer a chance, based on her reputation.
I'm a big fan of second chances. So, let me run all this by the school board and see if I can pull some strings and make something happen.
Thank you.
That night at dinner, Palmer shares the news with his grandmother and young Sam that he finally has secured a job. It's a small but meaningful milestone as he begins building a new life. The following morning, he starts his first day as a janitor at the school. An older staff member walks him through his duties, cleaning, maintenance, and basic repairs. Shortly after, he's called to fix something in one of the classrooms. When he walks in, he's surprised to see Sam sitting there among the students. Coincidentally, they now attend the same school, one as a custodian, the other as a curious, soft-spoken child. A subtle connection begins to deepen. One evening, Palmer returns home to find Sam watching TV alone. When he asks about his grandmother, Sam casually mentions that she's still in bed. Something about that feels off, so Palmer heads to her room. Then he finds her. She had passed away in her sleep. The scene shifts to her funeral, quiet, mournful, and heavy with loss. After the service, Palmer takes Sam to the police station and informs them that the child's mother had abandoned him days ago. He leaves Sam in the care of the authorities. But as Palmer walks away, doubt takes over. The emotional bond he's developed with Sam weighs on him. He turns back, unable to leave the boy behind. Palmer decides to bring Sam home. But from that moment on, their quiet life continues together. Routine settles in again. One day, Sam's teacher, Miss Maggie, visits the house. She offers her condolences and shows genuine concern for both of them. Before leaving, she gives Palmer her contact information, letting him know that she's available if they ever need anything.
About this, I just give you my phone number, and if you have any questions, or if you need anything, or if it's too much, you just give me a call.
Days pass quietly. One afternoon, Sam walks over to Palmer. As Sam gets closer, Palmer notices a strong, unpleasant smell. Concerned, he asks Sam when he last took a bath, and from Sam's hesitant response, it's clear that it's been a while. Without saying much more, Palmer gently encourages him to go clean up. Later that night, as they lie in bed, Sam turns to Palmer with a question about when his mother will return.
Do you know when my mom is coming back?
Palmer doesn't have an answer. He's just as uncertain as Sam, and it shows in his silence. A moment passes and Sam asks another quiet question, whether Palmer misses his own father. That thought lingers in the air. Then Sam softly shares that Grandma used to miss her son deeply. And maybe now, wherever she is, she's finally reunited with him. Eventually, Sam drifts off to sleep. Palmer, however, stays awake. He pulls out an old family photo album and begins flipping through the pages, staring at pictures of his childhood images of himself and his father. The memories hit hard. Emotions swell inside him as he quietly sits in the glow of those frozen moments in time. The next morning, life resumes. Palmer and Sam head to school together. That evening, they spent time together watching a local football match. After the game, Palmer drops Sam off at home and then heads out for drinks with his friends. The following day brings a lighter moment. Palmer, Sam, and Miss Maggie spend time together at a game center. As Sam plays, Palmer and Maggie open up to one another. She shares parts of her past, a broken marriage, a divorce, and the sense of starting over. The next day, the school principal notices Palmer and Sam arriving together. Later, he takes a moment to speak privately with Sam, gently asking if Palmer ever troubles him. Sam's response is sincere and reassuring. Everything's fine.
And he's always nice to you?
Yes, sir.
And everything's okay?
Mm-hmm.
Later, the story takes us to the police station. Palmer and Sam are there for some formalities. As they walk out, Sam curiously asks why Palmer had to go there. Palmer, without sugarcoating anything, explains that he isn't a perfect man. He's made mistakes, he's hurt people, and he's even stolen in the past. Surprisingly, Sam questions Palmer that his mom also stole money, but she never goes to the police station, to which, without judgment, tells him the truth. Sometimes people get caught, and sometimes they don't.
Some people get caught, some don't. I got caught.
But what matters is what you do after a mistake. That's when Sam quietly admits something too, that he's stolen things as well, from his classmates at school, and once, even from Palmer's grandmother's wallet. But he never had to go to the police. Palmer gently helps Sam understand that while they can't return the money to someone who's no longer here, they can still make things right at school. The things taken from the classmates can and should be returned. The next morning, Palmer and Sam leave for school early, and Sam carries with him the items he had taken, ready to give them back and make amends. A few peaceful days pass, and then comes a special occasion, Sam's birthday. Miss Maggie and Palmer come together to celebrate it, to make the day special for him. Miss Maggie notices a stack of unopened letters lying on a side table. They'd been sitting there for a while. Palmer had never bothered to read them. Curious, she urges him to go through them, and as they begin to sort through the envelopes, one stands out. It's from his grandmother's lawyer with a message marked urgent that they were to contact the office as soon as possible. When Palmer makes the call, he learns something that leaves him uneasy. Before her death, his grandmother had planned to sell the house and donate most of the proceeds to the church. Palmer was left with only a small sum of $5,000. But now, with the house legally sold, he has just 30 days left to vacate the property. The security of his new life suddenly feels fragile. Meanwhile, Sam is out playing at the park with other kids. Some of the children begin teasing Sam, mocking and pushing him around. Palmer arrives, stepping in, scolding the kids and making sure Sam is okay. Then Palmer takes him to a nearby store to buy a Halloween dress for Sam. Sam is instantly drawn to a princess dress, vibrant, shiny, and just like the one his friend Emily was planning to wear.
What about being Peter the Prince or, I don't know, pirate?
Palmer hesitates. He suggests Sam choose a more traditionally boyish costume instead, but Sam insists the princess costume is what he wants. In the end, Palmer buys it for him. The next day, Sam wears the dress to school, proud and excited, but not everyone reacts with kindness. The other students start to tease him, laughing and calling him names for wearing a girl's costume. That's when Miss Maggie walks into class dressed up, with a fake mustache on her face. Her playful presence lightens the room. Without preaching, she gently shows the class that anyone can wear whatever makes them happy. Later, Palmer and Miss Maggie spend time alone again. The bond between them continues to grow. She's curious about Palmer's past and how he ended up where he is now. Palmer opens up. As a child, he once dreamed of playing football, but an injury changed everything. He had to drop out of the team and eventually out of school. What followed was a series of odd jobs and aimless days. Then one day, he heard about a wealthy friend who had valuables worth stealing. Desperate and reckless, he broke in but was caught off guard when a man appeared with a gun. Acting in panic, Palmer had attacked in self-defense and fled the scene.
Don't matter. I did what I did.
That one moment, filled with fear and instinct, had landed him in prison. A few more days pass, and one afternoon, Sam goes over to his friend Emily's house to play. Meanwhile, Palmer finishes his janitorial work at school and quietly slips into the computer lab to learn about law and how to become Sam's legal guardian. With Palmer's criminal history, many people were already questioning whether he should be allowed to keep Sam with him. But Palmer, determined not to lose the boy he'd grown so close to, was trying to figure out if there was any legal path to make it happen. Later that evening, Palmer returns home only to find Sam in a terrible state. His face is covered in smeared makeup, and he looks shaken, frightened. Palmer immediately confronts Emily's mother, but she claims she doesn't know what happened. Palmer returns to Sam and tries to calm him. Palmer suspects the same kids who had bullied Sam at the park might have done this again. He gently tries to encourage Sam to stand up for himself, to not be afraid. But Sam, still trembling, says that they were too big, too strong.
They weren't kids.
Something about that detail doesn't sit right with Palmer. When he asks Sam again who was responsible, Sam answers that it was Daryl, Palmer's own friend. Fury builds up in Palmer like a storm. Miss Maggie tries to stop him, to calm him down, but he's already out the door. He heads straight to the club where he knows Daryl hangs out. And without a second thought, he launches into a brutal attack. Palmer doesn't hold back, and in his rage, he even threatens Emily's father for letting something like this happen under his roof. When Palmer returns home, Maggie is furious. She confronts him, insisting that violence was not the solution, and that there were better, calmer ways to handle the situation. Palmer listens silently. Later, he sits with Sam and reassures him. He tells the boy that he should never feel ashamed of who he is, whether it's liking princess dresses or makeup. There's nothing wrong with that. The next morning, Palmer helps Sam write a letter to the creators of his favorite cartoon. But before the letter is even finished, there's an unexpected knock at the door. Sam's mother, Shelley, has returned. She wants to take Sam back with her, but Sam doesn't want to leave, and Palmer feels like his heart is breaking. Still, despite the pain, he doesn't resist. He gently prepares Sam to go, knowing that he can't legally stop it, even if every part of him wants to. The next day, Palmer returns to work, but he's distracted, distant. Nothing feels right. Sam's absence lingers in every hallway, every moment. But fate steps in once again. One day when Palmer leaves for work, he sees Sam sitting quietly outside his house. Sam shares that his mother now plans to live with her boyfriend, Jerry, and that they're planning to move, even changing Sam's school. Palmer tries to stay strong. He promises to visit him regularly. But the next day, when Palmer shows up to check in on Sam, he's met with devastating news. Sam is no longer there. Child Protective Services and police officers had taken Sam into custody. Shelley's relapse into drug use had triggered the removal. Now, a court would decide where Sam would end up. Palmer doesn't waste a second. He contacts the authorities and requests the paperwork needed to apply for custody. But when they see his criminal history, he's immediately denied temporary guardianship. Despite everything, the love, the bond, the system still sees Palmer as a risk. After being denied custody, Palmer decides to try one last route. He visits Shelley and asks her to sign a form that would legally allow him to take temporary guardianship of Sam. But Shelley doesn't take it well. She reacts with anger.
Get out of my house!
Refusing to sign anything. The conversation quickly turns bitter, and Palmer leaves empty-handed. Then Palmer appears in court with Miss Maggie by his side. The judge informs him that, due to his parole status, he cannot apply for custody just yet. He'd have to wait until his parole officially ends before filing again. But Palmer can't hold back. He pleads with the court for a chance. He admits to the mistakes of his past, to the man he used to be, but also speaks from the heart about the man he's trying to become. He tells the court that Sam is the reason he's changing.
Can't abandon that boy. I will not abandon that boy.
Just then, Shelley enters the courtroom. She tells the judge that she too has been struggling, but now she wants to take Sam back and care for him properly. After considering everything, the judge grants custody to Shelley. The next day, Palmer begins packing up his belongings. As he looks out the window, he sees Sam standing, waving at him with a bittersweet smile. But something unexpected happens. From the van, the sound of shouting and violence breaks out. Palmer watches in horror as Jerry, Shelley's boyfriend, was hitting her. Sam tries to intervene, trying to shield his mother, but Jerry roughly shoves the boy aside. Palmer doesn't hesitate. He rushes in, pulls Jerry away, and protects Sam. In the chaos, he takes Sam with him and drives off. Later, Palmer confides in Miss Maggie, explaining everything. She warns him that this could now be seen as a kidnapping, that even if his intentions were pure, the law wouldn't see it that way. She reminds him that Shelley is still Sam's legal guardian. Palmer realizes she's right. There's no other option. With a heavy heart, he takes Sam back to Shelley's home. But by then, she'd already filed a complaint. As soon as Palmer arrives, the police arrest him. As he's being led away in handcuffs, Sam chases behind the squad car, desperately trying to reach him. But Palmer ends up in jail again. After some time, something unexpected happens. A police officer informs him that Shelley has withdrawn the charges. She's had a change of heart. The very next day, Shelley comes to visit Palmer, not in anger, but with resolve. She tells him that she's ready to let Sam stay with him. She quietly leaves Sam in Palmer's care and walks away. Now, Sam is truly home in the presence of someone who genuinely cares for him. In the final moments, the story comes full circle. Sam receives a package in the mail. It's from the cartoon company he had written to, a heartfelt response and a small gift in return. The smile on his face says it all. And with that, the film closes on a quiet but powerful note of unexpected love, second chances, and finding family in the most unlikely places. It's a reminder that even the most broken hearts can still hold someone else's world together. If this story moved you even a little, hold on to that feeling and hit the like button. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more upcoming videos.